Well, the first thing I'd like to say is I think we beat a good basketball team tonight, a team that I've coached against and watched for a long time. Tad has done a great job with his group. Danny Manning is over there, another guy who's a terrific human being and coach, and not to mention the rest of their staff. And so just really proud of our guys for coming in, focused, coming in and trying to protect our home court. I thought our guys did a really good job of, especially in the second half, of executing what we wanted to execute, and gave us a chance to win. And at the end, we were able to do that.
So at the end of the game, Debo hits the free throw. You're up by 1. Kind of what's going through your mind during Colorado's final possession, and then when you get the ball, all you got to do is inbound it. What were you thinking when they called the 5-second call and not give him the timeout?
Well, we always talk about wanting to win on defense, and so tomorrow when we watch film, it'd be great to show us having to make 2 stops at the end of the game against a team that is very, very efficient offensively. I watched a lot of tape on them. They're very efficient at what they do. They have unbelievable length at every position, and just really wanted our guys to understand the importance of you have to get stops to win at this level. And I thought we dug in at the last and had our best stops at the end. I thought the first one we just put a lot of pressure on them. We ended up forcing a tough shot and ended up being an air ball. And then, of course, we got the ball back with 4 seconds. We had one more timeout, so we decided not to call it. I didn't want to use the timeout just in case we didn't get it and we could use it. They already, understand what we want to run at that point. We work on it all the time. They got into the set we want to get into. And you give Colorado credit. They made it difficult to get the ball in bounds. I thought Keyshawn called timeout. From my angle, I thought he was calling timeout. But I'm not down there. I'm sure the crowd was loud, and so maybe you don't hear him say it. But you don't have to visibly do this. That's old school. You can just say timeout. Now, you can do both if you want to make sure you situate it. But, just saying timeout, ref, is enough. And I thought Keyshawn was trying to say it, but, you're in the student section right there, too. So there's a lot going on, and maybe just didn't hear it. But I was proud of our guys that we were able to get the stop, irregardless of that. And that's where we need to learn how to win games, because offensively, when you got everything going, that's not complicated. It's when you're not going offensively like you want to be able to dig in and get stops. That's basketball. That's when you got to win games that everything's not going your way. And I thought we did that tonight.
Coach, last time out, it wasn't the result that you wanted. How does it feel to get this bounce back? What does it do for confidence? What was the message to the team?
I think it was huge for our guys. We talked about regrouping and responding. We talked about that was our motto. Hey, we got to regroup and we got to respond. That's what this league is about. You're going to be in tough battles every single night, and you can't, you got to take the lessons you learn. There were some things that we learned for sure from the Kansas game. We'll take those, and the things that, that they did really well that had nothing to do with, us, then you do have to flush that, and then you move forward. And so for us, we took the lessons. I thought we got better from it, and I thought we carried some of those things over into this next game.
Did you see the team had a different fire coming off of that loss?
I did. I thought we had a really good fire, and I think the way we started the game is because of the emotion. I think we started off 0 for 10. I thought we had, a lot of good looks that just didn't go for us. And, again, that forced us to have to dig in defensively, and we need to learn to do that. We have to be a better defensive team, and we can be. And I thought tonight was some good examples of how well we can play it when we needed to, especially when we got down 10. I thought our guys did a great job of really turning up the heat, playing, UCF basketball. Started pressing, getting after guys, and I thought that was the turning point.
Coach, after starting 0 for 10, Jordan converted on 3 straight possessions to get you guys on the board. What can be said about his presence in those moments and overall throughout the game?
Well, I'm very proud of Jordan, and that's what he's done his whole career. I mean, he can spark you. He sees one go in, it could be 2, it could be 10. He can get going really fast, and I thought he did that for us, and that got us back, going, and kind of, I think, opened the basket up not just for him, but for some of our other players as well. So it was key, but you need that from your veterans. He's one of our veterans, so we lean on him to make those type of plays for us, and I thought he stepped up and did it.
Coach, staying with Jordan, I mean, he kind of was able to step up tonight, unlike other nights. What was the difference for him tonight, do you think?
I thought his mindset was really good. I thought he came in, in attack mode. He was aggressive, and that's what we need him to be. The ball's not going to always go in, but you still have to have a certain mindset every time you step on the floor. And you have to understand he's adjusting to playing in this conference. This is his first go-around, just like it is for everybody on the court pretty much except for DJ. He's the only guy that's really playing, I think, extended minutes that has been in this league. So these guys are all learning game by game the level of intensity, the level of physicality, the different guys they're guarding and different guys that are guarding them. And so it's a process of getting comfortable in that situation. I think the more games he gets under his belt, he's going to get better and better for us because he's a terrific player.
Coach, what was the difference between the Knights team that you saw play against Kansas versus the Knights you saw play tonight?
Well, I thought the Knights team tonight, we played more of UCF basketball. I thought we got after guys, we pressed, we made a 94-foot game. I thought we made more connecting plays, not just offensively but defensively from the standpoint of what we were trying to execute against them. I thought we did some good things. Where, of course, the other night, I didn't think we did very many things well. And so, to be quite frank, and I give Kansas credit for that. I thought they came in. They were really focused on what they were trying to do, and we have to grow and get better from that experience. The lesson we learn is we got to compete at a much higher level to be successful. And Kansas came in and they raised that level, and we have to be able to match that. And we didn't match it that night. And so you tip your hat. It's not nothing that you ever want to see happen, but you grow from it, you move, and you get better. And that's what I wanted our players to do. And I tried to explain to our guys, they all count the same, 1 win and 1 loss. So it's a 1 loss, and so now we have to rebound, we have to regroup and respond so that 1 loss doesn't become 2. And that's what we tried to focus on.
In the second half, what changes did you make from the beginning of the second half where they opened 7 of 7 from the field to the middle portion where you guys were able to get turnovers? It was 7 in the span of 4 minutes.
Well, they opened up the second half as hot as you could be hot. And at one point, I think they may have missed their first shot. Then they went for us and went, like you said, 7 or so in a row. And so at the timeout, the 16-minute timeout, we had a heart-to-heart on. We can't continue to guard like this. We have got to turn our defensive intensity up. We got to stay locked into the game plan and what we're trying to do. We kind of got away from it during that span, and it gave them some momentum. And they're a team. I've watched a lot of film on them. That's how they play. They play in runs. They get going, and they can go on big runs. And that's what you saw during that stretch right there. So we had anticipated that. Tad's team typically, like I say, is well coached. They're going to play 40 minutes every single night. There's not a possession that they're not going to be involved in where they're not going after it. And that's what you saw. And so I explained that to our guys. And I think they saw it at the start of the second half, like, well, these guys are really going every possession. And so I think we'll learn something from that as well.
And then what's Jalen Seller's status going forward towards Arizona?
Still to be determined. What it was before, back in the situation where it's wait and see day to day with where he is.
Like you said, after Kansas, you've said that UCF basketball is defined by the defense. Even though you gave up 50% from the field, you still forced 22 turnovers. You forced them to 10 less shots than you guys had, and 9, I'm pretty sure it's 9 blocks. What do you have to say to your team after suffering a really hard loss to Kansas, coming out and playing so well defensively? You didn't have to score a basket the last 5 minutes, and you guys still pulled off the win. What do you have to say?
I'm just very proud of them, is what I say it to them. They're resilient. To have that type of bounce back says a lot about who they are. Your character is revealed in these type of moments. It's not when things are going all well for you. They're revealed when things aren't going well. So we're in a situation where, things weren't going well. And, how do we respond? How do we bounce back? Kind of reveals your character when you in that situation. And so for me, I'm still learning these guys. And they showed me something tonight because I'm very proud of the way they responded based on how we performed tonight, on Sunday.
Keyshawn just kept getting to the line at the end of the game, and then, like you said, the miscue on the timeout, he comes back with the block. What do you have to say about his play down the stretch today?
He's a winner. He's a winner. When you make those type of plays, you're a winner. He's another veteran for us, so we count on him. And so, yeah, the play didn't go our way. He could have dwelled on that. He could have been, I call timeout and stayed in that moment, but he moved on to the next play. And you can't, this game favors guys who can move on to the next thing the quickest. And for him to make the play where he doesn't call timeout, he could be blaming himself. I may have blown the game. He could be thinking all kind of things. But instead, he went and made a play for his team. And so a younger player may have been dwelling on that and never could have made the play Keyshawn made on the block at the end. So I'm very proud of him for moving on from a play that, I'm sure he would like to have had back.
Hi, Coach. Obviously, the last few games, especially that Kansas game, you guys didn't shoot very well from 3. And at the start of this game, it looked to be a similar game. But in the second half, that completely changed. What do you think some of the changes you guys had in halftime really brought out that 3-point shooting?
Well, I think one, coming off a tough game that we had, and then we had some tough practices in preparation for this next game, just, meetings and practice. I think our guys are still, suffering some of the effects of what, that were lingering from our past game. We talk about moving on to the next play, but I'm not sure we had completely moved on from that game, early in the start of the Colorado game. We were still probably, suffering from some of the effects from the previous game. That can happen. But I thought our guys showed the maturity of fighting their way out of that, never letting the game get out of hand where we could still compete in it. And then in the second half, we were able to turn it.
Kind of building on that, you had a couple close games in the non-conference. How valuable were those experiences to kind of have the poise to close a game in a game where shots weren't falling, you're getting a lot of your points from the foul line at the end of that game and getting the stops you needed to win?
Very important for us. That's why you schedule the preseason games the way you do. Like, we tried to schedule teams, even teams that maybe not had name cachet that people would not know of, but we knew and had respect for, who they were in programs and their coaches. So we knew they were going to be hotly contested games, provided they were healthy. And those teams, fortunately, were healthy this year. So it gave us some really good competition, which allowed us to grow in in-game situations. Our guys, new guys were able to see what we want, what we expect at the end of games, what we want to run at the end of games. We were able to execute those things in those preseason games. So when it comes time like now, these guys kind of understand what we want to do. Now it's just about executing.
Coach, you said time and time again how much defense is a part of this team. What did it mean to you to see defense play such a critical role in pulling out the win from the pressing to the blocks to the turnovers?
Well, just as flying around and just our activity. I love to see that. The one thing, any team I coach, the one thing I don't ever want to see is us to get outworked. For us, a team to play harder than we play. I can't stand that. As a competitor, why compete if you do that? And so, to me, when you see guys flying around and exhibiting that type of effort and energy, that type of caring for possessions, that's what you want to see as a coach. That's when win or lose, hey, these guys are maxing out. They're maxing out themselves. And as a competitor, you have to max yourself out. You can't pace yourself. And that's what you saw tonight. I thought, especially in the second half when we got down, you saw guys really starting to fly around. They had a sense of urgency, and that's what you got to have. And I really appreciated, what they were able to give us.
Tad Boyle had mentioned during his availability that the difficulty of traveling multiple time zones in this league now. So you've got these two games with Arizona and Arizona State. So what are the logistics and the preparation ahead for those two, for that 4 or 5 day stretch?
Well, we really have to focus on us right now. We'll get back together tomorrow for practice and start prepping for, Arizona, because that'll be our next opponent. I haven't seen them play yet. And we'll prep, and then we'll have a routine where we'll leave the day before we play that game to get out west and start preparing for them out there as well. But we try to, by being in this league last year, we were traveling multiple time zones anyway. So we're going out to BYU to play, so we were in multiple time zones. So, with that, we just want to keep the same type of routine that we've had. I think I thought our routine was fine last year. We just got to make sure we just tighten up a few things. But by and large, you're going to have to be ready to compete. It's going to be 2 hour difference, 3 hour difference, depending on where you play. But your guys are going to have to be ready to compete at whatever, time zone it is.
Arizona is obviously a storied program. I know you're going to be watching film the next few days, but early on, what do you know about the Wildcats?
I haven't seen the Wildcats play in that one game this year. Even the teams I've scouted hadn't played them. So usually sometime I'll get a chance to watch a team because they're playing somebody I'm watching that I'm scouting, but I haven't seen anyone play Arizona yet. So looking forward to start watching them. I know they're well coached. I know they're a storied program, and I know they'll be well prepared. And we have to do the same.
What did the win at Texas Tech tell you about your team's ability to win a tough game on the road in the Big 12?
It definitely showed that we're capable. It showed we're capable of winning on the road, winning a game like that in that environment. I think helps our guys, going forward, because no matter where we go, the environment's going to be the same. They're going to be great. Every environment's going to be like the Texas Tech environment was, which means they're going to have a full gym. Everyone's going to be against us, and it's just going to be us, rallying around each other to try to be successful. So I think that helps us by being in that situation going forward. Now we have to, learn the lessons and try to apply them as we move on, on this next road trip.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Guys, take care.
Jordan Curry and Moustapha Thiam.
All right, fellas, obviously had a battle back in this one around that 10-minute point. You started to make your comeback. What was it that you did defensively? I know you forced a lot of turnovers. What kind of turned the tide for you to come back and win this game?
We knew we just needed to bring energy. Playing fast is what get us going, so we needed to speed them up, and that's what we did.
Talk about last game wasn't the result that you guys wanted. Was there extra fire underneath you guys tonight to come out and perform and get this bounce back win?
Most definitely. When you get beat like that, you always got to come out with a lot more energy and be more physical. Kansas game showed us we was weak. Thank you to Kansas. And we're gonna get better in that area.
What were some of the things you guys saw watching that film that you emphasized this game?
Just our box out. It wasn't just our big guys having to guard Hunter Dixon. It's the ball pressure that we have to put on the guards to make that pass. So I think the guards did a good job of doing that today. And I know Moustapha did a great job of defending in the paint today.
Jordan, you guys started 0 of 10 before you converted on 3 straight possessions. What was your mentality during that cold shooting stretch, and how did you want to help lead your team?
Just shout out to B.J. Taylor. He just told me before the game, stay confident. Stay aggressive. And I kind of had that mentality going into that game. And I just kept it, and everything worked. And another credit gives thanks to my teammates for, getting me open and creating for me. So.
Jordan, you led the team tonight with 22 points and 4 threes made. What did you see out there? What kind of gave you that energy tonight?
I know, like the first 2 games, I was kind of sitting in the corner. So I know we did a good job of just trying to get me involved to make plays because I'm more than just a shooter. I can make plays for my teammates. So it's kind of was my mentality, just being a playmaker.
Moustapha, defense ended up proving crucial in this one. After last game, with the way that one ended, how big was it for you guys to come back out here on defense in this one?
I mean, we just step it up, play defense guarding, without fouling. And then the guards did a better job pressing the ball. And we bigs too did a better job of standing in front of their man and trying to, play a good defense.
Building off that, Moustapha, the last possession, you and Keyshawn were able to get the block to preserve the win. Take us through the possession and what you saw going body up on him.
Oh, I think, yeah. So they just set up their play, and then someone screamed me. I called blue, but I think my teammate didn't hear it, and I recovered faster, and I just jumped and blocked it.
Moustapha, you had
Yeah, he's talking about the last one.
You had 3 blocks tonight.
Yeah.
That was with me.
Yeah.
That was me.
Moustapha, you had 3 blocks tonight. Talk us through some of the defensive adjustments you guys made in the second half. They seem to be working.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our guards did a better job of make them drive, and then every time they drive, they know that I got to help. And we did a better job of pressing the ball, too, so they can just get beat. And then I did a better job to be in the basket. Every time my guard get beat, I got it back.
Jordan, you guys played a couple close games earlier in the season, but how much did that experience help you guys kind of stay calm as that game got tighter and it was essentially tied for those final 2 minutes before you guys were able to get the free throw to pull ahead?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. No worries. You guys played some close games in the non-conference season. How much did that help prepare you to play in a close game in this situation where you guys were tied heading into those final minutes of the game?
So yeah. It helped us tremendously. We also, have stretches like that in practice where we go over late games and stuff like that. So we know just one play at a time. Keep our composure, not rush it, and just make the right reads and execute down the stretch. So and we did a good job of that.
That UCF crowd got real involved in the game. They're always rocking. I know for Moustapha's block, it almost brought the house down, especially in a close game. How much does Nightmare help you guys in your game?
I mean, the crowd is really important for us because they've been here, hype us up, and everything. We really appreciate that. And I think it's really important for us to see them, supporting us. So I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to their loyalty, too. So, some fans, coming off a loss like that, they, try to let us go, but they stay solid with us through it all. So I want to give a big shout out to them.
Jordan, this is for you. How much of a big boost was it to win a game like this when you guys didn't get a field goal in the last 5 minutes? You guys just somehow found a way to win. How much of a confidence boost is it for you guys moving forward?
I mean, it's a great confidence boost. I know the last game, kind of got our heads down a little bit, but this game, helped us, helping us for the next 2 games about to play. Coming in with a lot more confidence. So get back to where we was, in non-conference, just get these win streaks.
Moustapha, what has been the biggest thing you have learned over the course of these first 3 conference games? Because not only is this the first one first Big 12 conference game for the whole team, but it's your first conference games of your collegiate career.
I mean, yeah, I'm just still adjusting. Coming out from high school, it's a whole different level. But I think it's more physical, obviously, and I just gotta keep adjusting and keep working hard, and trust my teammate and trust my coaches.
As his teammates, what do you guys say about Keyshawn after the confusion, I guess, on the inbound? He comes back and gets the block to seal it.
I know the play before that, Keyshawn was calling timeout, so want to give a lot of credit to Keyshawn not getting frustrated and just making a play, making the next play. That's what we say, next play. So he did that. So big shout out to Keyshawn, staying level-headed, staying engaged.
Coach Dawkins said after the Kansas loss that you guys hang your hat on defense. Despite Colorado shooting over 50% from the field, you did force 22 turnovers. How important was his message, and how much does it resonate with you in this game?
We know it's a lot of good players in this league. Like Colorado, great team, great shooter. So, we got to play defense all year long. So we just wanted to step that up in that area, like we've been preaching all year long. And we did that this game, and gave us a spark to help us get this win.
What did you guys, schematically shift in the second half? They started the second half 7 of their first 7 from the field, then they had that stretch where you guys forced 7 turnovers in 4 minutes.
I just think we didn't come out second half engaged. We didn't come out focused. We let a couple threes get away. Number 23 is a great shooter. He came out, gave him a spark, and number 3 did too. So after we kind of that media timeout, we came in and we did a good job of focusing. And Coach gave us that little energy boost. Got on us, and we turned it up after that.
2-1 in the Big 12. I know you guys aren't happy with the final score against Kansas, but you got to be pretty happy with the start, right?
Yeah, that's what we say. Next play, we 2-1. We're looking forward to keep getting more dubs. So, hey.
How do you approach this next week coming up? You go to kind of like an NBA trip. You're playing a couple teams out west. You're staying in Arizona for an extended period of time.
I'm just staying engaged, taking care of our bodies, and being locked in. So,
What did getting that road win at Texas Tech show you about your team's ability to win on the road in conference play?
Like Coach preaches about confidence and composure. We can go anywhere and win. Texas Tech has a great crowd, great fan base, and we was able to play through that. Even then we had some stretches down, and the crowd got loud. We didn't get rattled. Kept our composure. DJ hit a big shot. We was still making big plays, and we came out with the win. So it shows a lot about our team.
What was the difference between the UCF nights we saw play against Kansas versus the nights we saw play tonight?
Just our overall energy, like how we guarded the post. We knew Colorado was a similar team. Try to throw it in the post, and I know we just had to be more physical, and the guards had to be more active on the ball. So that's what we did today.
Thanks. Appreciate it, fellas. Thank you. Have a good road trip.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, we've got Colorado head coach Tad Boyle. Coach, if you'd please start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, I mean that was a typical, prototypical Big 12 game. Went down the wire. Physical is all get out. I've never played in a league as physical as this. It's amazing. I've coached college basketball for a long time now, and I've never understood why certain leagues are different than others in terms of the way they're allowed to play. But we have to adjust to that. There's no doubt about it. And I just told our team, I don't know how the hell we're in this game when we turn it over 22 times, and they score 24 points off our turnovers. That says something about our fight and our ability to compete. And that's been a Achilles heel of Colorado's all year long, is those turnovers, and they reared their head tonight. But I thought our guys battled, but we held them to 39%. When we got our defense set and took care of the ball, I mean, we guarded them pretty darn well. But had some good looks there at the end. I loved how we executed the out-of-bounds play at the end, but the 3 or 4 possessions before that, even after timeouts, we didn't execute. And Central Florida, made one more play than we did. And it's a hell of a game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that end of the game sequence. They go up by 1 with the free throw, about 22 seconds left. You had the final possession. Then you got the possession again with the 5-second call. Did you like what you saw at the end of the game from your team?
Again, I liked the last off OB under where we got the ball to Elijah Malone right at, under the basket. He's a horse for us, and weren't able to finish it. A couple possessions before, Bangat had a really good look at the, basket. It didn't go in. So I was happy with those. Our deal is get a good shot, but there was 3 or 4 possessions where we had plays called and actions called that we did not execute. And to me, you have to execute late in games to get great shots. And we knew Central Florida is a heavy ISO team that plays a lot of one-on-one, and we weren't able to get enough stops. And again, they called a foul on that rebound. That's the way it goes.
Coach, you mentioned executing. UCF scored 41 points in the second half.
Yeah.
A lot of them coming late in the game. What did you guys see that UCF gave you a hard time defensively late?
24 points off our 22 turnovers. And I don't have the first half stats with me, but you lose by 1 and you give up 24 points just off not being strong with the ball or having them pressure you into a turnover. It's tough.
Coach, I know that you mentioned the turnovers being an Achilles heel, but you did shoot 52% overall. Is that at all encouraging moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, look, we shot 49% against Iowa State. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. So, we absolutely. I mean, we when we got shots, we were pretty good. You got to get more shots, and again, they get 10 more shots on goal than us. It's tough. I mean, it's tough.
Coach, after the loss to Iowa State, you kind of said the same thing that you started off with, how physical this Big 12 league is. What do you think makes it so difficult for your team, especially in matches like this when it came down to the wire?
Well, I think sometimes our guys get fouled and they're looking for the whistle instead of just playing through it. Play to the whistle, don't play for the whistle, and understand the whistle's not going to come, especially when you're on the road. It's probably not going to go your way. It's just the way it is. So. And that comes down to mental toughness, and being aggressive. We had a really good stop there at the end, and we were ahead, and they got the rebound and we didn't. I mean, we've been working on it in practice the last week and a half since the Iowa State game. So, but overall, we out rebounded by 5, which I thought our guys fought tonight. We at least competed on the boards, which is something we had not done against Iowa State or Arizona State. So we got to take the positives. You got to build off the positives and just try to figure out how to win the next game. Because that's in this league, you can't worry about what just happened. You can't worry about what's on the horizon. You just got to try to win the next game. And we were focused on that, with this Central Florida team, and they were coming off a tough loss. Obviously, we knew they'd be ready. Didn't even watch the KU game with our film. Of film with our team because it didn't do anybody any good there. So, but they responded and they were down a guy, we were down a guy. So just the way it goes. It's a tough loss because that was a winnable game.
Coach.
After the game at Arizona State, you talked this week about needing to live up to the standards of the program. And those loss, I know you didn't have you had too many turnovers, but individually, some of the guys, are you pleased with the way they responded tonight?
Yes, our fight and our competitiveness, our toughness on the road. I have a totally different feeling in my gut right now than I did after Arizona State. After Arizona State, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be the coach at Colorado. I was embarrassed by how we got out-toughed and out-hustled. Tonight, I didn't think we got out-toughed and out-hustled. We held them to 39%. We out-rebounded them by 5. I can live with that on the road in the Big 12. It's just, again, you better take care of the ball. And we shot 52%. There's a lot of good things you can take from this, but there's one thing you look at and it's just like it sticks out like a sore thumb. And until we get that figured out, it's going to be hard to win these kind of games. But we gave ourselves a chance. With all that being said, so we're doing something right.
The first 7 shots you guys took after halftime, you guys made them. Then you had that stretch with 7 turnovers in about 4 minutes. What sort of adjustments did you think UCF made defensively, particularly in their press?
Yeah, they started pressuring us in the full court, and we coughed it up one time in the trap. Got called for some travels, and again, we got called for like 3 travels tonight. I got to look at the film, and they probably were. So you just gotta. But we knew, you're playing a team at home. And you've got a lead, the pressure's coming, whether it's in the half court or the full court. You got to be able to handle it, and we didn't handle it. And when we were scoring right out of the chute in the first half or second half, we were okay with trading baskets with them. And I think they scored 4 out of the first 8 possessions of the second half. We scored like 7 of the first 9. So we were positive Colorado, but that 4 for 8's got to be 2 for 8. And then you break this thing open.
Coach, with turnovers being, as you said, this team's Achilles heel, what does this team have to do in order to patch that moving forward?
I think each individual player on the team has to become more prideful of that part of the stat sheet, whether it's completing passes, footwork and traveling, not leaving your feet, to pass the ball, which you can't do in this league, especially if you're a guard. I mean, it's just being strong with the ball, knowing that the thing about the teams in this league, Iowa State, Arizona State, Central Florida, 3 for 3 now, they are very active with their hands in terms of reaching, poking at the ball. And sometimes they'll hit a wrist, they'll hit a hand, they'll hit a forearm, and we've got to be strong enough to deal with that. And right now we're not. So that's where we have to get better.
Coach, kind of speaking more again on the turnovers, you had a passage of play where you had 8 turnovers in about 3 minutes of play. You guys kind of battled back then, and it was more of a tight game after. What did you say to your players?
I just said, guys, keep fighting. Our guys kept fighting. I mean, we did. We battled our tails off, and I got no problem with our fight tonight. We had too many stretches where we turned it over. We didn't get shots. I mean, again, you hold them to 39%, you shoot 52%. You out-rebound them by 5, you should win that game. But we didn't.
Coach, there's a couple Orlando Magic connections with Colorado.
Yep.
Obviously, head coach went to Colorado. Tristan Da Silva is a rookie.
Yep.
I know you practiced there yesterday. What was that experience like, and what was it like reconnecting with Tristan today?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, we're extremely proud of Tristan and what he's done for the Magic and their organization. Jamal Mosley's Orlando is lucky to have him. He is a class guy, first class all the way. We're really proud of Jamal and to have Tristan in his organization, their organization. I got a lot of respect for the Magic, and from top to bottom, coaches, players, they got character guys, and Tristan I knew would fit right in, and he has. So I know it's unfortunate because of some of the injuries they've had, but it's benefited Tristan in terms of getting him on the floor, and now he's got confidence, and I think they have confidence in him. But I'm always pulling for the Magic.
Got time for one more.
Coach, UCF is about to head out west to take on Arizona. What have you noticed about traveling 2 time zones over for a road game?
It's not easy. We came out a day early. Obviously, it was cold in Colorado. When you're traveling from west to east, you're losing time. And now we'll go back, and you gain time going back, but that doesn't help you. What hurts you is, so that's why we came out a day early. But yeah, these time zone changes are real, and the wear and tear in your body is real. It's still early. We're only 3-4 games in the season, but as I look at college basketball, I see who's playing who. It's just I scratch my head thinking there's got to be a better way. But this is the way it is, so you deal with it, and that's what we're doing.
Thanks,
Yep.
Coach.